I typically like baseball films, and Field of Dreams has been on my to-watch list for a while, and I recently resubscribed to Now TV, and it's currently on there in the UK, so it was the perfect opportunity to finally watch Field of Dreams, and I'm pleased to say this is a really beautiful film. It was released in 1989. It's directed and written by Phil Alden Robinson. It's based on Shoeless Joe by W.P. Kinsella, which I haven't read. If you have, and you have any thoughts on that, please feel free to share. And we have a cast including, of course, Kevin Costner. We have Amy Madigan, Gaby Hoffmann, James Earl Jones. Great cast, great performances, really lovely narrative, a very layered narrative. There's a lot going on here, and I wasn't fully aware of the whole premise going into it, and I wasn't entirely sure what direction it was going in or what the purpose of this was, and I'll talk about the narrative in a moment. And as things developed and as we find out more, it just becomes more and more fascinating, and I'd say more and more emotional as well. It's not a tremendously heavy film, but there are some strong emotional moments. It's about our protagonist Ray, and he is told to build a baseball field on this cornfield. And he hears this voice telling him that if he builds it, he will come. And he has to build this baseball diamond. And this is primarily what the film is about. And he starts to see the spirits of various baseball players. There is focus on the Black Sox scandal of 1919, which I knew basically nothing about then when I watched the film. I know a little bit more about it now, but by no means am I an expert. But certainly it gave me an education. I learned about those players. With that in mind, I can't comment on the players that we see in this or whether I think they are accurate representations of those players. Absolutely, I have no idea if that's the case. I can't comment. But from my amateur perspective, with that in mind, I thought the characters were great. They were seemingly well written. They're certainly very interesting characters. And again, I was keen to see what the purpose of building this diamond was and what we were kind of heading towards. And I don't want to give any of that away, of course, but it's really moving and definitely quite emotional at times. The journey is quite interesting. Ray is a very likable protagonist. The other characters we meet all, again, seem well written. I can't comment on whether they're accurate portrayals of certain baseball players or not. And the other characters are definitely well written with some really great performances. And in general, it's a very, very well written film. Definitely a very interesting, layered narrative with a lot to offer. Kevin Costner gives a great performance. Ray is a very likable protagonist. And this was actually nominated for 3 Oscars. It was nominated for Best Picture. It was also nominated for Best Writing and Best Music. And now I'm keen to see actually what won Best Picture in 1990, so I will check that now. Okay, oh wow, 1990 was a big year. We have Driving Miss Daisy, which is the winner. Great film. Dead Poets Society, one of my top 2 all-time favourite films, Field of Dreams, and also Born on the 4th of July and My Left Foot. I've never heard of My Left Foot. I haven't seen Born on the 4th of July, but certainly Driving Miss Daisy and Dead Poets Society, very, very tough competition. But that was a big year to be nominated, absolutely. And even without the win, obviously it's a brilliant film. And you don't necessarily have to like films about baseball to want to watch this. I love baseball films. I don't really care for any other sports-based films. So I ask myself, let's say Ray was being told to build a basketball court. Would it have been as enjoyable? I'd say for me, yes, to some extent. But I'm willing to admit that the baseball aspect really appealed to me. So that's worth bearing in mind that if you don't care for baseball films, that is a big, big part of it. But the overarching message and the emotional journey, I think, would still be really enjoyable. So it has a lot to offer. Field of Dreams is a really brilliant film. As I said, I'd wanted to watch it for a while and finally had a reason to. And I'm glad I did. It's a beautiful film, very well written, great performances, a very moving journey, and needless to say, I'm very, very happy to recommend it.